Yo, what up everyone? This is going to be a very important trading video on not only some trading setups based off the charts, but also the psychological aspect and emotional side to trading, which I feel like a lot of traders lack and they struggle because of it. And I'm sure a lot of traders are going to relate to the things that I do say. And if you do, just listen to what I say on how to fix it. And I promise it will definitely lead you in the right direction to becoming a better trader and fixing the things that you're struggling with. Before we get into it, I'm going to link my Instagram in the description below at Investitrade. I definitely recommend following this. I post daily trading recaps on here along with very good trading tips and tricks that I guarantee you aren't going to find anywhere else. This is a very, very good resource. You're missing out if you're not following it. But now let's get right into this video. So the most simplistic traders are the most successful. What I mean by this is the traders that fail the most are the ones that try to overcomplicate trading. They try to find charts that look completely messy, try to look for indicators, holy grails that work 10 out of the 10 times. They try to beat the system. When in reality, there's no such thing as beating the market. You know, the market's always going to outsmart you. Your goal as a trader is just to extract profits, for you to trade your opportunities, and for you to think and be a very contextual trader. Now, what I mean by this is less thinking is better thinking in trading. If you are overthinking it, thinking when, X meets Y, Z has to happen, and after Z comes A and B, if you try to formulate a complete equation, when you look at different indicators, stuff like that, and you're doing more thinking of where you think the market's going to head, you are setting yourself up. Less thinking is better thinking. And on your charts, less noise is better because you become more mindful and observant. There's a thing called information overload, where if you're searching the web for the best strategies, the ones that work 100% of the time, you're looking for indicators when this crosses that, when this is oversold, when this is overbought. That's so much noise on your charts, and that's going to overload your brain. You have to think of how much information us traders process on a daily basis. So if your brain is feeling cluttered, you're feeling very cloudy, stuff like that, you are not going to be very mindful and observant of the market. Therefore, you're going to miss certain things because the market is all about understanding context. Think of the market as a storyteller, and us traders are the audience. We have to comprehend what the market is telling us for us to trade well. You also have to understand, this is important, you have to understand the technical side to trading, understand price action, understand how the market works, understand the auction process, and other very important things about day trading itself. Now, by doing this, you are going to have less noise on your charts. You're going to think less. You're going to let the market do its thing. And whatever the outcome is known before the trade is actually put on. And then you have to use a strategy that deals with price and volume. Supply and demand is what I personally use. Now, a lot of traders, like I mentioned before, try to search for, oscillators, moving averages. They think that's what moves price, when in reality, price and volume are the two most important indicators that you ever need, and that has to deal with supply and demands of the market, because that is actually how the auction process works. So once you get a strategy, then you have to establish your levels or areas of interest that you're willing or wanting to trade at. For me, that is my supply and demand zones. And then you have to be ready to trade along the line of least resistance as soon as you've determined all of that. So that all has to come first. For me, my supply and demand strategy, which I'm going to pull up right here, is it's organic price action. I focus on the auction process. These are buy order imbalances where we look to take the market long in demand, and we look to sell the market when we're inside of supply because we have a sell order imbalance. This is supply and demand. This has to do with price and volume, nothing else. Another thing I want you to keep in mind is look at my charts. There's no noise to this chart. It's very clean. It's very organic. It has to do with buyers and sellers and price action. There's no indicators. There's no crazy lines besides VWAP, but that has to do with volume and price. But there's no, I don't look at the MACD, the RSI, the moving averages. All I care about is what price is doing and the reaction and the context from buyers and sellers. And that is something that I think all of you need to focus on, because the strategy aspect to trading is a big portion of the equation. But the mental side and the psychological side is also another important side. So you are the only one who overcomplicates trading. If you think about it, the market doesn't complicate itself. You are the only one who does by whatever you're thinking, your feelings, and your emotions. So trading is so difficult because not only do you have to use a proper trading strategy, and that's something a lot of people struggle with. They do not have a solid foundation of a trading strategy that produces consistent results in the long run that's been tested. So proper trading strategy is very important. In my opinion, you have to have a trading strategy first before you master yourself and your emotions. So mastering yourself and your emotions is a good portion of successful trading, the equation. But you always have to look at it like you protect yourself from yourself. You are your worst enemy in trading. As soon as you get in your head, as soon as these thoughts keep going through your brain, you're processing different things emotionally and mentally, that is going to make you maybe take unnecessary losses, avoidable losses. Maybe some winners you took profit too fast. But whatever the case may be, in becoming a great trader, it's much about self-mastery as it is about market mastery. And you must fight against your fear. Your fear of losing is a big one. I have a video that I made about this, about how to get rid of the fear of taking losses in trading, because fear is going to make you sell positions that would have been a winner, but because you were losing on the trade or you weren't comfortable in the position, you might exit out of fear for either a loss or break even. So here we have an example on AMD, and this bounced off of 3-hour demand. And like I mentioned before, when we're in a demand zone, we look to take the market long as we get confirmation. So let's say we long the market in this area right here where my cursor's at. We're long around the 83.67 point. This is at the same time where I loaded into the AMD contracts. So if you look on the right here, at the time AMD was around $1 and our stop loss was below the lows. So at this point, we're in the contracts at $1. We're buying the double bottom on AMD. Market comes up. We're up about 20 cents on the option contracts. And then the market starts coming down. And again, it's all about self-mastery. Now the market's coming down and you're starting to panic a little bit. You start sweating. You start shaking. You're very anxious. You don't want this to be a losing trade. So what are you going to do? You are going to fight against your fear because you don't want to take a loss. So market comes down, guess what you do? You sell over here now for a small profit, a small loss, or even break even, trading the option contracts, let's say, or the shares. Then what happens, 10, 15 minutes later, stock starts reversing. But because you did not master fearful trading, you exited this trade when in reality you still should have been in it, never hit your stop loss, and this thing would have been a nice winner if you just stuck to the original plan and you did not let your emotions and yourself get in front. Like I said, you are your worst enemy. Now you have to fight against your greed. So fear and greed are the two main ones, but a lot of traders are very, very greedy and it backfires on them. Sometimes they will hold a position too long because they want to squeeze the stock a little higher and try to make a little more money. So in this case, we have Roku off of I believe it was a daily demand zone, but we came down and just hypothetically speaking, let's say we missed this first bounce right here. That bounced off of demand. We missed this, stock came up, and we formed new supply up here. The market started selling off, and guess what we do? Just like AMD, we start double bottoming at demand. So now we look to take this trade to the long side. I'm just going to mark out, let's just call it right here. So we're in around the 276 area. And the stock starts coming up about 3 or so points. And if you're trading the options, you're trading deltas of like 0.30. With no other Greeks really affecting you, you're probably making about $1 per contract on these. So for every contract, you're making about $100. Trade 10 contracts, you're making about $1,000. But we come up, hypothetically speaking, now this is a valid supply zone. But because we saw we were up $1,000, we're like, wow, I want to make $1,500 or $2,000, or this trade could be a sick trade and be a $5,000 winner. And guess what? You ignore your plan. You ignore what the market is telling you. It's telling you the story that we're at supply right here. And this should be a valid exit point once we hit supply, because you know what happens when we hit a sell order imbalance, the market does come down. So because we were greedy, we were trying to squeeze out every penny from the market. The market did reverse. And guess what? We might have not made as much money because we were too greedy. And the same thing, came in and sold off pretty hard. So you have to eliminate your greed out of the market and you have to eliminate your fear. So these next points are going to be the most important ones of this video because you have to be patient when you're trading. Notice how I spelled patient. You get paid for being patient. You have to wait for your setups to trigger. Once your setups trigger, you have to execute. You get paid for opportunity, not your time. I tell members in the chat room all the time that if there's no opportunity, you're not going to get paid. You do not get paid for how long you sit in front of the computer screens. You only get paid when your setups trigger. True trading is all about sitting on your hands. Sometimes, it's very tedious and boring where you could go as a few days without putting a trade on because the conditions are not right to trade in. So there's some days where I don't trade at all just because of, my setups aren't there and they are not favorable conditions for us to trade in. You have to recognize these things, recognize what the market's telling you, and then trade or not trade accordingly. It's more about being patient and sitting on your hands than it is actually doing something and trading itself. And a lot of people struggle with this because it's very tedious and boring. Trading can be seen as something where, it's adrenaline pumping. You're always doing something. You're always winning or losing money. But in reality, a good portion of it is very boring and tedious if you are trading the right way. Another point is that you have to be disciplined. You have to be disciplined. This goes into every life, your daily routine. It bleeds into your trading. You have to let the market come to you. Many of the failing traders I see are in this game to make a quick profit. Obviously, everybody's goal is to make money and make profit, but a lot of people get attracted to all these people running ads and, all of these gurus talking about how they made $1 million trading this year, when in reality, it's possible, but that's just to suck you in. The whole idea of making quick profits fast, it's possible, but it's very, very tough. It's something that takes years to master. A lot of people get the thrill of gambling, so they come to trading, and they love these high adrenaline environments, which, like I mentioned before, it's really not the case with trading. A lot of people cannot accept this as well, so there's no reason to trade all the time. Everybody thinks, they have to turn their computer on, they look at the market, and they have to make a trade today. No, you're only supposed to make a trade when your setups are there and only when they are there. Do not open your computer, see the market moving, coming up, coming down. You're like, oh, I don't want to miss this move. Let me get in on this trade. That's the wrong thing to do. And you are trading based off of your emotions. And I say this all the time. If you want the feeling of gambling, you want these high adrenaline environments, and you want to feel large profits fast, then go to Vegas. It's simple as that. Trading should not be looked as any of these things. You can make large profits fast. You can look at it as gambling. You can look at it as a high adrenaline environment. But if you focus on those things, then you are technically just throwing your money out there. You're not following the process. You're going to make irrational decisions based off of your emotions, and trading should not be any of those things. And many of the successful traders I see in this game follow a process. It's all about the process. I say this all of the time too in the chat room, is that focus on the process over the profits. If you follow the process, you trade well, you handle your emotions, you master yourself, you master the markets, then obviously profits are going to come. If you follow the process and you trade well, you're going to see success in this game. Do not think you're going to get rich quick. It is possible, but you have to master yourself, master the markets first, become patient, and do not overtrade. A lot of these things lead to overtrading. I could go on for hours talking about this. So if you want to see me break down these two things about being patient and being disciplined a little more, drop a like on this video. I'm going to wrap it up here. I hope you all learned something. Hope you all enjoyed it. If you did, drop a like, comment any questions, concerns. Follow me on Instagram. My DMs are always open for any questions you may have. And I think you'll get a lot of value and education out of my daily trading recaps on there. Link for that will be in the description below. And definitely check out the links in the description below. I offer a very in-depth and educational course that comes with access to the Discord at no extra charge. There's a lot of valuable information in the course, and also the Discord, which is a very engaging community where everyone's looking to help out each other. But on that note, I'm ending it. Peace out.